What if I told you the reason you're not getting faster is because you're running too hard? Not on your workout days. Those are obviously meant to be fast. I'm talking about your easy days, your recovery runs, your normal, everyday training runs. You're running them too fast, and it's costing you. Now, you may be thinking, wait, if I slow down, won't I just get slower? That's what most runners think, and it's completely logical. But it also happens to be completely wrong. The fastest runners in the world, I'm talking Olympic marathoners, world record holders, they spend about 80% of their training running at paces that would make you think, that's it? That's all they're doing? Meanwhile, most recreational runners do the exact opposite, and then they wonder why they plateau. Today, we're going to talk about why slowing down is the secret to speeding up. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Welcome to the VMAX Running Podcast, where the goal is to help you become a better runner than the one you were yesterday. I'm your host, Coach Brad, and today we're diving into one of the most important and most ignored principles in running, the 80-20 rule. We're going to talk about what the 80-20 rule is, why you're probably running too fast in your training, what the science says about the importance of easy, low-intensity running, and how you can put all of this into practice to train smarter, break through any plateaus you may be experiencing, and of course, hit those PRs. Let's get right into it. So first of all, what exactly is the 80-20 rule? It's a pretty simple concept. The idea is about 80% of your weekly mileage should be run at an easy, conversational pace, and only 20% should be at moderate to high intensity. Really, that's all there is to it. So if you're running 20 miles a week, roughly 16 of those miles should be genuinely easy, and only 4 miles should be harder things like tempo runs and intervals. The 80-20 ratio comes from studying the training of elite runners, Olympians, world champions, the best of the best. Sports scientist Dr. Steven Seiler analyzed their training, and he found this 80-20 pattern over and over. The fastest runners in the world do most of their training at low intensity. But interestingly, research has shown that most recreational runners are not following this type of training split. Most runners spend about 50% of their time at moderate intensity. Not easy enough to recover, but not hard enough to really improve. They're stuck in this weird, unproductive middle ground. Think about that for a second. Statistically, the slower you are, the more likely you are to train hard all the time. The faster you are, the more time you spend running easy. So, if the science is clear, why does almost every recreational runner train too hard? There are a variety of reasons, but I want to share a few that really stick out to me. Reason number one is that easy running doesn't feel productive. When you're running easy, truly easy, it can feel like you're not working hard enough. There's this idea of no pain, no gain. If you're not hurting, you're not getting better. An easy run feels too comfortable. You finish, you still have so much in the tank, and you think, did I even work out? Did I even train? But the reality is, easy running is working. It's doing a lot of very important work under the surface. It's building your aerobic engine, increasing capillary density, strengthening your tendons and ligaments, teaching your body to burn fat more efficiently. These are all things that need to happen in order for you to get faster and stronger as a runner. You just can't feel it happening in the same way that you feel the burn of a hard workout. Reason number two is what we'll call the Strava effect. Now, obviously, social media has made a lot of impacts on our lives, culturally, societally. how we behave and interact with each other, and running is no exception. When you feel like you have an audience, there's this pressure to perform. People don't like to post their 10-minute per mile recovery run on social media. People are posting their PRs, their fast workout splits, their race performances, and that's great. Those things can be fun to share, but it can create a warped perception of what day-to-day training actually looks like. And it can make you feel like every run needs to be a hard workout. Some runners just feel embarrassed to run slow or to be seen running slow. Even if it's not Strava or social media, maybe you see another runner on the street and you don't want to be seen running slower than that other runner. And look, I get it. I'm not perfect. I definitely have that competitive side to me, but look, it's important for those of us who have that to be intentional about checking the ego at the door and understanding that our performance ultimately is on race day, not on this random Wednesday morning easy run. We don't need to be performing for our Strava followers, and we definitely don't need to be performing for some random guy on the street who we don't know and will probably never see again. Reason number 3 is that more feels like more. There's this intuitive sense that if a little intensity is good, more intensity must be better. If one hard workout improves my fitness, then 3 hard workouts will improve it 3 times faster, right? I wish that were the case. I really do. But that's simply not how training adaptation works. Your body doesn't get stronger during the workout. It gets stronger during the recovery from the workout. When you go hard every day, you're just digging a deeper hole that you then have to climb out of. You're accumulating fatigue without giving your body time to adapt and come back stronger. Reason number 4 is that you may not actually know what easy feels like. We always talk about conversational pace, right? You want to be able to have a full-on conversation during your easy runs. But it's a little more nuanced than that because you can technically force a conversation while you're gasping for air every few words, but that doesn't count as easy. If you don't feel comfortable and relaxed while you're speaking, you're just not running easy enough. There's a wide spectrum of paces and effort levels, and many of us make the mistake of thinking we're running easy just because we're running easier than our tempo pace or our race pace. But easy doesn't mean easier than hard. Easy means easy. So now that we understand a few of the reasons why we tend to run harder than we should, let's talk about how easy running actually makes you faster. Your body has multiple energy systems, but for distance running, your aerobic system is king. This is the system that uses oxygen to produce energy efficiently. The stronger your aerobic engine, the faster you can run before hitting your limits. Easy running is what builds this engine. When you run at a low intensity, you're doing a number of important things. First, you're increasing your mitochondrial density. If you paid attention in biology class, you may remember that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. When you increase mitochondrial density, what you're doing is increasing the number and volume of mitochondria within your muscle fibers, essentially making those powerhouses that much more powerful. You're also developing more capillaries or blood vessels. You are literally creating new blood vessels in order to deliver oxygen to your muscles more efficiently. Another thing you're doing is teaching your body to burn fat as fuel. This is something that your body becomes more efficient at through easy, low-intensity running, and this is going to help to preserve precious glycogen. Glycogen is the body's preferred energy source. That's generally where it's going to pull energy from for any type of physical activity, especially at a high intensity. Fat is a much more sustainable energy source for long durations of activity like distance running. And if you've trained your body to efficiently utilize fat as an energy source, you're going to be able to delay the depletion of your glycogen. Now, why does that matter? If you've ever hit the wall during a race, you hear about this phenomenon where people hit the wall around mile 20 of the marathon, where there's this sudden drop of energy and you physically cannot keep running at the pace you were running at, that is the result of glycogen depletion. There are a few different contributing factors that cause this to happen, but the most important thing you can do to prevent that is just to do more easy running during your training. Easy running also helps to strengthen your connective tissue, your tendons and ligaments, without breaking them down. You're applying repetitive but low-intensity stress, which is a stimulus that prompts your connective tissue to adapt and lay down new cells and collagen. And the result is that it's going to be more resilient to the impact forces of running, which reduces your risk of injury. Finally, you're also improving your running economy. The more mileage you're running at low intensity, the more efficient your body naturally becomes at running in general, meaning you end up using less energy at any given pace. To be clear, all of these benefits that we've just talked through happen specifically at easy paces. You can't shortcut this by adding intensity. Now, don't get me wrong, that other 20% of hard running is crucial. That's not something you want to neglect. Speed work, tempo runs, intervals, these workouts are going to push your lactate threshold, improve your VO2 max, and teach you to run fast when you're tired. They're like the icing on the cake, but they only work if you actually have the cake itself. If you don't have that aerobic foundation, hard workouts are just going to beat you up. Speaking of which, we also have to talk about injury risk. Running hard all the time breaks you down. Every run that you do creates micro damage to your muscles and your connective tissue. The damage from easy running is minimal. Your body can repair it pretty easily, often within a few hours. Hard running creates more significant damage that takes days to repair. Now, this isn't a bad thing in itself. We do need that damage to elicit real adaptation. But when you're stacking hard run on top of hard run on top of hard run, you never fully recover. That's how you end up with overuse injuries, shin splints, IT band syndrome, stress fractures. Your body is literally telling you to slow down. And unfortunately, most runners just ignore it until they're forced to stop. So with all of that in mind, how do you actually apply the 80-20 rule to your training? First, you need to know what easy actually means for you. There are a couple of different ways to do this. The simplest method is the talk test. When you're running easy, you should be able to speak in full sentences, not gasping or struggling. If you can sing, you might be going too easy. But if you can only say a few words at a time, you're probably going too hard. If you run with a watch or a heart rate monitor and you really want to get into the weeds with the numbers, easy running will generally fall somewhere between 60 and 70% of your max heart rate. If you're familiar with the concept of heart rate training zones, easy running is definitely zone 2. If you prefer to go by pace, your easy pace is going to fall somewhere between 1.5 to 3 minutes slower per mile than your 5K race pace. Now, just to keep it real, when you find your true easy pace, it might feel uncomfortably slow. You might feel like, what am I doing? Like, what's even the point of this? That's okay. In fact, if it doesn't feel too slow, you're probably still going too fast. Now let's make this practical. Here's how I structure a training week for an athlete who's running 4 or 5 days per week. And I'm actually pulling directly from one of our VMAX training plans. So Monday is a rest and recovery day. Tuesday is an easy run. Wednesday, you have the option of doing an easy run or doing some low intensity cross training. Thursday is a workout day. This is when you're going to have a tempo run, an interval workout, a progression run, whatever the plan happens to call for that week. This is your 20%. Friday, you have the option of doing some cross training or taking a rest day. Saturday is an easy run, and Sunday is a long run done again at low intensity, easy pace. Notice, in that schedule, we only had one hard day. Everything else is easy or rest. Now, if you're running more than 5 days a week, I will add one more moderate effort to the week, but the principle holds. The vast majority of your miles should be easy and low intensity. I want to encourage you to embrace the slow. This is the hardest part, and it's purely mental. You need to let go of your ego on easy days. When you're out on an easy run and someone passes you, let them pass. When you look down at your watch or your phone and the pace just feels too slow, trust it anyway. When you're feeling good and you just want to push a little bit, resist that urge. Save it. Bank that energy. You're going to need it for those true workout days when you actually go hard. Now, a couple of traps to avoid when you're doing your easy runs. The first is speeding up at the end. You don't need to finish strong with a kick where you're annihilating that last quarter mile. This is super common. This is something I had a habit of doing when I first started running. And occasionally, I'll be honest, I still do this when I'm not necessarily training intentionally for anything, just because it's fun. It's fun to run fast. But when I have the intention of going out for an easy run, I want to keep it easy all the way through to the finish, because adding that extra intensity is not part of the plan. And it's going to impede that training stimulus that we're looking for from an easy run. Now, the other trap that's easy to fall into is going on a group run with people who are running faster than you. There's nothing inherently wrong with a group. I love running with friends and run clubs. You just need to make sure that you're running with a pack that has the same intention for the run as you. If you go out for an easy run and your easy pace is 9 minutes per mile and you're running with a friend who wants to go 8 minutes per mile, inevitably, you're going to end up running at a higher intensity than you planned for. And again, you're not going to get that training stimulus that you need from this run. So just something to keep in mind when you're running with friends. Okay, so we've covered what the 80-20 rule is, some of the science behind it, and what it actually looks like in practice. If it's your first time really taking this seriously and consistently running your easy runs properly, I want to talk about what to expect as you start to put this into practice. Over the first few weeks, you're going to feel slow. You might even feel like you're losing fitness, but you're not. You're just finally recovering. Your legs might feel heavy as that accumulated fatigue starts to clear out, but by week 3 or 4, you should start to notice a shift. Your easy pace starts feeling easier, your legs feel fresher, and when you do go hard on workout days, you'll find that you have a lot more energy to push. That's the short term, but after a couple of months of proper 80-20 training, you'll start to notice the magic. Your easy pace will naturally get faster without any additional effort. Your hard workouts will become genuinely hard. You're going to unlock levels of effort that just weren't possible before. You'll recover faster between those hard sessions because your easy runs are no longer getting in the way. You may notice that some of those nagging aches and pains disappear. And most importantly, if you're racing, you should start seeing progress and PRs and breaking through plateaus that you were experiencing before. But of course, we're not looking for just one good race performance. We're not looking for a good month or a good season. We're looking for a good year, a good decade. This is about long-term sustainable improvement. The 80-20 rule is not a hack or a shortcut. It's just the way the human body adapts to running. We can fight it and run hard every day and get stuck and plateau, or we can work with it and unlock new levels of performance by respecting the way our body actually operates. All right, as we wrap up, I want to remind you of a few key things to remember. 80% of your running should be genuinely easy enough to hold a conversation. 20% of your training can be moderate to hard. Your workouts, your tempo runs, your intervals. Easy running builds your aerobic engine, helps you avoid injuries, and makes your hard workouts way more productive. It's going to feel slow at first, but trust the process and stick with it. Give it a try on your next run. Bring that intensity down, Stay in that easy, relaxed zone and resist the urge to speed up even if you're feeling good. And by the way, if you are feeling good, that's a good thing. You want to have more fuel left over. You want to save those reserves because there are more demanding workouts to come, and today is not the day to empty the tank. Before I go, I want to thank you for spending some time with me here on the VMAX Running Podcast. This is a new podcast, as you may know. It's something I'm really passionate about and excited to be sharing with you. So if you haven't already, I'd love for you to come along for the ride by subscribing wherever you get your podcasts. And if you found any value in this episode, it would mean the world to me if you could leave a nice rating or review on the podcast platform of your choice. That's my only ask. Otherwise, I really appreciate you being here, and I look forward to talking more with you in the next one. Thanks again for listening. Bye-bye.